Stop lying to yourself. You already know it. Every time you hit snooze, skip a task, choose comfort over effort. You are building a life you will regret. And the worst part, you don't even feel it yet. One day, years from now, you'll look back and realize all the time, all the chances, all the small steps you avoided, they added up. And by then, it's too late. You're choosing to be weak. You're not unlucky. You're choosing comfort. One day, you'll regret this. You might think missing one workout, ignoring one task, or scrolling through your phone for just a few extra minutes doesn't matter. It feels harmless, almost invisible, like it's not shaping anything. But that's exactly the lie you're telling yourself. Regret isn't built in a single moment. It's built in thousands of small ones, each one stacking silently, quietly, and visibly, until one day you wake up and realize you are a person who didn't fight for themselves. Every choice you postpone, every responsibility you avoid, every uncomfortable step you skip adds weight to the life you're building. It doesn't announce itself. There's no alarm to tell you when it becomes too late. The truth is, most people never notice until years have passed, until opportunities have slipped through their fingers, until the energy, ambition, and potential they once had is buried under habit after habit of avoidance. You are crafting that future right now with the tiny, invisible decisions you make every single day. And because they feel small, you let them slide as if they have no power. But they do. They are the bricks in the foundation of a life that may not reflect who you truly are or who you want to become. Every hit of snooze, every avoided call, every ignored task is not just a moment lost. It's a choice to train yourself into comfort, into delay, into laziness. Talent, intelligence, opportunity, they mean nothing if the person you are forming cannot act when it matters. Picture two people with the same potential, the same resources, the same energy. One hesitates, postpones, chooses the easy path over the necessary one. The other confronts discomfort, takes action, pushes through resistance. A year later, they are unrecognizable. One is stagnant, frustrated, watching life happen to them. The other is confident, capable, and moving forward every single day. That difference didn't happen overnight. It happened in the small, silent moments you never see, the moments you convince yourself are insignificant. And the terrifying part, most people don't even realize they're building the wrong version of themselves. They're asleep while their habits shape their life. So pause for a second and ask yourself, what small moments am I letting slide today? Which tiny decisions, seemingly inconsequential, are quietly forming the person I fear becoming? Because it is forming, whether you notice or not. It's forming in the hours you waste, in the excuses you make, in the comfort you chase instead of growth. Awareness is your first weapon. Recognizing that these moments are the architects of your future gives you control. You can't change the past, but you can act now. One small choice, one deliberate effort interrupts the slow formation of regret. One intentional step away from comfort, one act of courage, one decision to face what you've been avoiding today builds a different foundation, and each day compounds. The person you want to become is built the same way. One small, deliberate choice stacked on another over days, weeks, and years. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be impossible. But it has to start. Because if it doesn't, if you continue choosing comfort over action, if you continue letting small moments slip without notice, you will wake up one day years from now, and the person staring back at you will not be the one you hope to become. That person will be shaped by hesitation, by avoidance, by the comfort you chased instead of the growth you needed. And then finally, you will understand the cost. You will feel the regret deep and undeniable because it will be built into the very life you created. Don't let it reach that point. Don't let comfort quietly decide who you are. Start with the moments you have right now. Confront the uncomfortable. Take the first step. Choose action. Your future self is already forming, and it will reflect exactly the choices you make today. Take a moment and think about why it feels so hard to do what you know you should. Why is it easier to stay on the couch, scroll on your phone, or put off that difficult task? The answer isn't that you lack willpower. It's that your brain is wired to choose comfort. It's built to avoid pain, to seek immediate reward, to take the easiest path, whenever it can. For thousands of years, human beings survived by conserving energy, by avoiding risk. That instinct hasn't disappeared. It lives in you right now, whispering that comfort is safe, that effort is dangerous, that discipline is unnecessary. Every time you listen to it, every time you hit snooze or scroll one more minute, you are reinforcing that wiring, training yourself to settle for less. It's not your fault that your brain is wired this way. It's biology, chemistry, evolution. Your neurons are looking for shortcuts, dopamine hits, comfort over challenge. The problem is that the world today punishes comfort and rewards action, effort, and courage. Every time you give in to immediate gratification, you're teaching your mind that delay is safe and effort is risky. You're strengthening the neural pathways of avoidance. The longer you do it, the easier it becomes to choose comfort automatically without even thinking. Here's the brutal truth. Your brain doesn't care about your goals. Your brain doesn't care if you want to be disciplined, successful, strong, or respected. It only cares about the next moment of ease, the next tiny reward that feels good right now. That's why discipline feels hard. That's why starting is painful. But every time you act against it, every time you do what feels difficult, your brain slowly rewires itself. Every deliberate action against comfort is a signal. This is not the automatic path. This is the path I am choosing. That signal compounds. Small acts of resistance gradually train your brain to seek growth, to endure discomfort, to value progress over pleasure. Imagine your life like a scale. On one side is comfort, easy, tempting, temporary satisfaction. On the other side is growth, painful, uncomfortable, but ultimately rewarding. Every choice you make shifts the balance. Every time you surrender to comfort, that side gets heavier. Every time you push through discomfort, that side gains weight. Comfort is loud. Growth is quiet. Comfort feels good immediately. Growth is delayed. Humans naturally chase what feels good in the moment. That's why most people never tip the scale. That's why most people never change. But you don't have to be most people. You can fight the wiring. You can teach yourself to choose growth. You can be the person who consistently acts in spite of discomfort. The first step is awareness. Recognize the patterns in your life where you're defaulting to comfort. Is it skipping workouts, avoiding difficult conversations, choosing distraction over action? Each instance is a moment where your brain is hardwired to choose ease, and each moment is an opportunity to act differently. You don't need to fight all at once. Start small with one conscious choice. Maybe it's finishing a task you've been avoiding. Maybe it's doing the exercise you dread. Maybe it's facing the truth you've been running from. One act, repeated consistently, is more powerful than 100 moments of motivation. Here's a truth that hits hard. Your brain will fight you every time. It will whisper excuses. It will rationalize inaction. It will make comfort feel irresistible. But that's where discipline comes in. Discipline is not natural. It is the conscious effort to act in spite of wiring, to choose long-term gain over short-term ease, to force your mind to align with your future goals. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. The neural pathways of comfort weaken. The pathways of courage and effort strengthen. And over time, doing what's right becomes automatic. Not easy, but automatic. Understand this. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are trained by millions of years of evolution, by countless moments of giving into comfort, by your own choices up to now to seek the easy path. The problem is, the easy path doesn't get you what you want. The only way forward is to retrain yourself. One uncomfortable choice at a time. One deliberate act, one day after another. Every time you choose growth over comfort, your brain learns to serve you, not your instincts. You are building resilience, self-discipline, and the capacity to live a life you won't regret. Remember this, your brain wants comfort, but your future wants growth, and your future wins if you make the choice today. Imagine the person you will be 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. That person is already being shaped by the choices you make today. Every action, every habit, every moment of comfort or courage is building them silently, invisibly, whether you pay attention or not. The scary truth is that the person you avoid becoming is forming right now, but so is the person you could choose to become. Your future self is watching, learning from every decision, and reflecting it back in a life that will feel either fulfilling or regretful. The moments you think don't matter, the tiny choices that seem inconsequential, they all compound over time into a version of you that is unmistakably real. One missed opportunity, one skipped challenge, one day surrendered to distraction doesn't feel dangerous in the moment. It feels normal, almost invisible. But that normal is quietly shaping your future. If you ignore discomfort today, if you choose ease over effort, the person you are forming learns that this is acceptable, that this is the standard, that this is who you are. That is the person you will meet when tomorrow becomes today, and next year arrives and the decade passes. Now consider the opposite. Every small act of courage, every time you do what feels hard, every moment you face what you've been avoiding, your future self is taking note. Those actions are recorded in the neural pathways of your brain, in the habits of your body, in the structure of your life. They become automatic. They accumulate. And one day, without noticing exactly when it happened, you will wake up as a person who doesn't panic at challenges, who doesn't shy away from responsibility, who doesn't compromise on the standards you've set. That is the power of consistent, deliberate action. Your future self is not a vague idea. It is an accumulation of repeated choices, one day at a time. The longer you delay, the further away that person drifts, and the closer the version built by avoidance comes. Think about the life you see in the mirror. Every decision you make today is either an investment or a withdrawal. Each skipped task, each delayed responsibility, each time you choose comfort over action, you are withdrawing from your future self. You are weakening their potential, limiting their confidence, reducing their options. And the worst part is that it happens gradually, almost imperceptibly. One small compromise today leads to another tomorrow, and then another the next day, until the life you wake up into is not the one you hoped for. Your future self doesn't negotiate. They simply exist as the sum of the actions you take now. But there is hope. Awareness gives you a chance to step in, to act intentionally, to decide who your future self will be. It doesn't require huge leaps or heroic efforts immediately. It starts with small choices repeated consistently. Maybe it's completing a task you've been avoiding, starting a habit you know will change your life, or confronting a fear you've been running from. Each time you do what is difficult, your future self strengthens. They learn resilience, courage, and consistency. Over weeks and months, the accumulation becomes undeniable. The person you want to become begins to outweigh the person shaped by comfort and avoidance. Every choice matters. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Your future self doesn't exist in theory. They exist based on the actions you take right now. If you hesitate, if you delay, if you choose distraction, that person weakens. If you act, if you push through resistance, if you confront discomfort, that person grows stronger. And the growth is compounding. One day, the difference between the person built by avoidance and the person built by deliberate action becomes so vast that it cannot be ignored. Your confidence, your habits, your results, your relationships, your influence, all of it reflects the accumulation of choices over time. Understand this. Regret is not a sudden force. It is incremental. It is built day by choices left undone, challenges avoided, and moments surrendered to comfort. And achievement is the same. Success, discipline, confidence, and strength are not instantaneous. They are built the same way, day by day, choice by choice, moment by moment. Your future self is watching carefully. Every action, every decision, every small commitment or avoidance is being recorded, internalized, and multiplied into the life you will wake up to. So ask yourself honestly, what will they see if they look back on today? Will they see a person who shrank, who ran, who surrendered? Or will they see a person who acted, who faced fear, who built themselves deliberately? The power is not in the distant future. It is in this very moment, in the next task, in the next step, in the next decision. Your future self exists, and they are being shaped by every choice you make. They are watching. Make sure they see courage. Make sure they see a person who refuses to settle for comfort over growth. because the life that person lives is waiting for you, and it will reflect exactly what you decide to do today. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, every time you avoid what's difficult, you are paying a cost that isn't always visible in the moment. It doesn't hit immediately. It creeps in slowly, quietly, like a river eroding rock, shaping your life in ways that only become obvious years later. Skipping a hard task today might feel harmless, but it teaches your brain that avoidance is safe. Saying no to effort reinforces the habit of surrender. Every compromise, every shortcut, every moment of giving up chips away at your potential, your confidence, and your ability to grow. The cost of avoiding discomfort is not just lost opportunities, it's lost identity, lost strength, lost self-respect. When you avoid challenges, you limit your growth without realizing it. Skills that could have been built remain dormant. Confidence that could have been earned stays unclaimed. Opportunities that could have transformed your life pass by unnoticed. The problem is that avoidance feels invisible while it happens. It feels like just today or just this one task, and your brain rationalizes that it doesn't matter, but it does. Every single choice compounds. Every single surrender is a brick in the life of the person you never wanted to become. One day you will look back and realize the accumulation of these small moments has become a lifestyle shaping habits, behavior, and identity in ways that feel permanent. Avoidance doesn't just affect what you achieve, it affects who you become. The person who constantly chooses the easy path develops an identity around that choice. They become someone who fears discomfort, who hesitates when opportunity calls, who doubts their own abilities, who accepts mediocrity as normal. You can see this in people all around you. They aren't inherently incapable, they have simply reinforced avoidance for years until it becomes automatic. The cost isn't visible until you measure it against the life you could have had. Every postponed action, every skipped challenge, every avoidance of accountability builds the person you were trying to avoid, brick by brick. The emotional cost is even greater. Avoidance teaches your mind that fear is safety, that hesitation is protection, that inaction is acceptable. This slowly erodes confidence, resilience, and courage. You begin to doubt yourself, not because you lack ability, but because you have repeatedly chosen to surrender rather than act. You become a stranger to your own potential. Your comfort zone becomes a cage. And because the cage is invisible, it is easy to mistake it for freedom. You tell yourself, I am okay, I'll do it later. It's not that big of a deal. While the life you could have lived slips further from reach, relationships, influence, and respect are affected too. Avoidance signals inconsistency. People notice hesitation and lack of follow-through. It becomes harder to trust, harder to lead, harder to inspire. When you avoid discomfort, your actions, or lack of them, communicate your limitations to the world. You may not see the immediate consequence, but over time, your reputation, credibility, and ability to impact others erode. The cost of avoiding discomfort is measured in the opportunities you miss to step into your full potential, the trust you fail to build, and the life you fail to claim. And the worst part is the compounding effect. One small avoidance leads to another. One postponed decision leads to delayed action. One shortcut leads to more shortcuts. Each day you surrender a little, your identity shifts a little. Comfort starts to feel normal. Avoidance starts to feel safe. And mediocrity starts to feel acceptable. What once felt uncomfortable becomes unbearable only because the gap between your potential and your reality grows larger with every moment of surrender. But awareness allows you to see the cost and act differently. Once you understand that avoidance is expensive, you can make deliberate choices to counteract it. You can face the discomfort, take the hard step, challenge the temptation to surrender, and begin to reverse the trajectory. Every deliberate act of courage diminishes the cost of avoidance. Every choice to act strengthens the person you want to become. The longer you wait, the more expensive it becomes. Not just in missed opportunities, but in the life you were capable of living. The reality is clear. Avoiding discomfort is a silent tax on your future. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't warn you. It quietly compounds into regret, limitation, and a life half lived. If you want to reclaim what's being lost, You have to act. You have to embrace the uncomfortable, confront fear, take responsibility, and do what your brain resists. The cost is real, and it's compounding every day. The only way to pay less is to act more, consistently, deliberately, and courageously. Every step into discomfort is a step away from regret and a step closer to the person your future self needs you to be. Most people run from discomfort, but the truth is that growth lives on the other side of it. Discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a signal that you are moving toward what matters. Every person you admire, every leader, every successful individual has learned to embrace discomfort because they understood one simple truth. If you avoid what is hard, you will never become who you are meant to be. The question is not whether discomfort exists. It always will, but how you respond to it. Do you shrink or do you lean in? Do you surrender or do you act deliberately? The difference between those who succeed and those who remain average is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It is the willingness to face what feels uncomfortable consistently until it becomes a habit. Start small. You don't have to leap into extreme challenges immediately. The brain is wired to resist, and if you overwhelm it, it will fight back. Begin with manageable discomforts. Wake up earlier than usual. Tackle a task you've been avoiding. Have a difficult conversation you've been postponing. Each act may feel minor at first, but repetition compounds. Small discomforts, face consistently. Train your mind to seek growth instead of comfort. The more you practice, the less your brain will resist. What once felt impossible becomes normal. What once triggered hesitation becomes a cue for action. Next, restructure your environment to encourage discomfort. Avoidance thrives in isolation and convenience. Remove easy escapes, add accountability, and design your surroundings to challenge you. Put yourself in situations where growth is required, even if it feels uncomfortable. Surround yourself with people who push you, not those who enable avoidance. When your environment supports courage, when your daily life naturally presents challenges, seeking discomfort stops being optional and starts becoming a habit. Develop a mindset that reframes pain as opportunity. Discomfort is not punishment, it is instruction. Every awkward conversation teaches communication. Every strenuous workout builds resilience. Every challenging task strengthens competence. The moment you reframe discomfort as a teacher rather than an obstacle, you start to crave growth rather than run from it. Your mind begins to associate effort with progress, struggle with learning, and pain with strength. That shift alone can transform your behavior, turning avoidance into action and hesitation into habit. Track your progress carefully. Your brain thrives on feedback, and the simplest way to reinforce seeking discomfort is to measure it. Write down every instance where you face a challenge intentionally, every moment you resist comfort, every time you choose effort over ease. Seeing it accumulate creates motivation, strengthens accountability, and proves that discomfort is not as unbearable as your mind predicts. Over time, these small victories build confidence and resilience, making the next step easier. And the next easier still, challenge your beliefs about failure. Fear of failure is often the reason we avoid discomfort. We imagine consequences, imagine judgment. But the reality is that failure is not the enemy. It is a signal that you are learning, expanding, and growing. Each uncomfortable situation carries the potential for failure, but it also carries the potential for mastery. The more you embrace discomfort, the more you desensitize yourself to fear. Every attempt, even imperfect, rewires your perception of difficulty, transforming it from threat to opportunity. Incorporate deliberate discomfort into daily routines, seek tasks that require effort, practice patience when it's inconvenient, speak up when silence is easier, embrace physical challenge and sit with difficult emotions rather than escaping them. Each deliberate act strengthens your tolerance, your resilience, and your identity. Gradually, your nervous system begins to expect discomfort as normal, and growth becomes automatic. What once required extreme effort becomes part of your natural behavior. Finally, remember that consistency beats intensity. You don't need dramatic gestures or extreme challenges every day. Growth is built in the quiet, repeated moments where you face what is uncomfortable consistently over time. Each choice compounds. Each day you lean into discomfort, your identity shifts. You become someone capable of handling challenges, someone who thrives under pressure, someone whose future self is stronger, more disciplined, and more resilient than you could imagine today. The key is this: discomfort is inevitable, but avoidance is optional. You cannot escape growth, struggle, or challenge, but you can choose whether they shape you into someone small and fearful or someone courageous and unstoppable. Begin today. Start small. Push further tomorrow. And never stop. Every deliberate choice to seek discomfort is a brick in the foundation of the person you are becoming. Your future self will thank you, respect you, and live a life that your past self could only dream of.